Hello students, a very warm welcome to all of you. Myself Patil Pravada from Param Guru Pathshala English Medium School, Sarsa. Today in this video I am going to discuss with you the fourth chapter from Standard 7 Science, and the chapter name is Heat and its Effect. Students, in this video I am going to discuss numbers of topics, and the topics are hot and cold, temperature, thermometer, types of thermometer, effect of heat, and heat causes expansion. So here are the topics which we will discuss in this video. So ready for that? Let's begin. Dear student, remember when you stand in the sunlight or sit near the fire, we feel hot. On the other hand, when we touch a piece of ice, we feel cold. When we dip our finger in warm water, we feel warm, obviously. And when we dip our finger in chilled water, we feel cold. So what is the heat? What can we see about heat? Heat is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hotness or coldness, the feeling of hotness or coldness. So I repeat, heat is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hotness or coldness. Remember one thing, heat cannot be seen by us. We all know that heat cannot be seen at all. We just feel the heat by the temperature effect which it produces. So we cannot see heat, but we can feel it by its temperature. When heat is given to a substance, its temperature increases and it becomes hot. On the other hand, when heat is taken out from a substance, its temperature decreases and it becomes cold. One thing you should realize that when we rub your hand together, our hand becomes warm. We all realize that when we rub our hand together, our hand becomes warm. Do you know how does it happen? Let's understand. It happens because the mechanical energy gets converted into heat energy. Yes, the mechanical energy converted into heat energy. That's why our hand become hot and we feel the hotness. Many other forms of energy can also be converted into heat energy. For example, when coal is burnt, chemical energy stored in the coal gets converted into heat energy, which is used to produce various things like electricity in thermal power station. The another example that is when we switch on the electric heater, electric energy gets converted into heat energy. It is another example of heat energy which is converted by another energy. Heat energy can also be converted into other form of energy. Like other energy can converted into heat energy. Same like heat energy can also be converted into other form of energy. For example, the heat energy of burning petrol is converted into mechanical energy in a car. Student, you know that energy is the capacity to do work. So heat must be able to perform some work. For example, in your home, you use heat for cooking food, ironing your clothes, heating water, etc. Now heat can be measured. Heat is measured in joules or calories. So you should remember that heat is measured by joules or calories. Now what is hot and what is cold? We know that some objects are hotter than the other while some are colder than others. We often decide which object is hotter than the other by touching the object. Without touch, we can't understand which is the hottest object and which are not. For this, we can do some activity as shown in the slide. We can see the image. Here is the figure A, B and C. Take 3 bowls, make them A, B and C. Pour some hot water in the bowl marked A. Warm water by mixing some cold and hot water in bowl marked B, and ice cold water in the bowl marked C. So we have to take a different temperature water in 3 different bowls A, B and C. Now dip the fingers of your right hand in bowl A and the finger of your left hand in bowl C for some time. Then put both the hand in bowl B. Do both of your hand get the same feeling? No, you cannot get the same feeling. You feel cold on your right hand and hot on your left hand. Through your hands are in same bowl. Do you know why it is like that? This is because the sensation of touch is relative. When your hand comes from hot water to warm water, you feel water is cold. And when your hand comes from ice cold water to warm water, you feel the same water is hot. So we conclude that we cannot always rely on our sense of touch to decide whether an object is hot or cold. That means we need a perfect quantity, perfect measurement to understand which is hot and which is cold. Students, we have just discussed that the hotness or coldness of a body is relative. We can measure the degree of hotness or coldness by comparing it with a standard unit that we all agree upon. The degree of hotness or coldness of an object on some chosen scale is called its temperature. So temperature is a scale, the degree of hotness or the degree of coldness of an object on some chosen scale is called the temperature. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Remember student, the unit of temperature in SI unit is Kelvin. There are commonly used unit of temperature are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. So degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit are also commonly used unit of temperature. But the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, which is referred as capital K. Now understand thermometer. Let's know about what is thermometer. The thermometer is that it is a device, as we all know that the temperature of a body is measured using this device. So the temperature of a body or an object is measured using a device called thermometer. Thermo is a Latin word and that mean is heat. Thermo means heat, and from that thermometer name come out. Thermometer work on the principle of expansion of liquid on heating. A thermometer has two standard marking on it known as the fixed points of temperature, which always remain the same. The lower fixed point is the temperature at which ice melt at the sea level. The upper fixed point is the temperature at which the pure water boils at sea level. The three scales used for measurement of temperature are Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. The three scale, Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. So let's learn one by one. First, Celsius scale. Celsius scale is named after the Swedish scientist Anders Celsius. In Celsius scale, the lower fixed point is 0 degrees centigrade and the upper fixed point is 100 degrees Celsius. The interval between the two fixed points is divided into 100 division. Do you know, student, that India has adopted the Celsius scale for measuring body temperature? Yes, India has adopted the Celsius scale for measuring body temperature. Before that, the Fahrenheit scale was used. Before the adoption of this scale, the Fahrenheit scale was used, but nowadays the Celsius scale are using. Fahrenheit scale is named after Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit. In Fahrenheit scale, the upper fixed point is 212 degree Fahrenheit and the lower fixed point is 32 degree Fahrenheit. The interval between the two fixed points is divided into 180 division. So we have to know now that the relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. The relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. It is very important to know for you, student. The relation used to convert a Celsius scale into Fahrenheit scale. We should know the relation because sometimes we have to convert the Celsius scale into Fahrenheit scale and sometimes we have to convert the temperature Fahrenheit into Celsius. So we should know the relation. The relation between Fahrenheit scale and Celsius scale is C by 100 is equal to F minus 32. Here F means Fahrenheit and C means Celsius. So C by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by 180. Students, there are two types of thermometer we have, that is laboratory thermometer and clinical thermometer. So two types of thermometer are there, laboratory thermometer and clinical thermometer. Let's understand both of thermometer and the structure of and the function of this thermometer one by one. First, we should know the laboratory thermometer. From the name, we can have an idea that is a laboratory thermometer is used in laboratory for measuring temperature while performing experiment. It is used in laboratory, that's why it named like that, laboratory thermometer. It consists of a very fine capillary tube, you can see in the figure also, protected by a thick glass tube called stem of the thermometer. The lower end of the capillary, see in the lower part of the thermometer, the lower end of the capillary tube is converted into a glass bulb. It is like a bulb which is made by glass with mercury. Mercury are in there in this small bulb. The upper end of this tube is sealed. The stem is marked in centigrade or Fahrenheit. The commonly used laboratory thermometers have a range from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. The upper fixed point is 100 degrees Celsius or 110 degrees Celsius, and the lower fixed point is 0 degree or -10 degrees Celsius. When the thermometer is in contact with a hot body, the mercury in the capillary tube expands and rises up. When the thermometer is in contact with a cold body, opposite thing happen. That means the mercury in the capillary tube contract and falls down. It is because of the effect of heat which causes expansion or contraction, which we learn after. We will discuss about this later in this chapter. Expansion and contraction, which is the effect of heat. Now we should know about a clinical thermometer. As laboratory thermometer, we know that it is using laboratory. Clinical thermometer. The laboratory thermometer cannot be used in measure the human body temperature. Remember that. The laboratory thermometer cannot be used to measure the human body temperature. There is a reason behind that. As soon we take out the bulb of the laboratory thermometer out of our mouth, the level of mercury starts falling due to its contact with air. When we use or if we use the laboratory thermometer to measure our body temperature, and when we take out from our body or means mouth, that mercury level falls down rapidly as it contact with air. Thus it can give a wrong reading. It can give us the wrong reading because mercury can not stand at the same space. Thus it can give a wrong reading. To measure the body temperature, we need a thermometer in which the mercury level does not fall even when its bulb is removed from our mouth. We need this kind of thermometer which can in which mercury level does not fall even when we take out the thermometer from our mouth. Thus, the clinical thermometer is used to measure the temperature of a human body. The construction of clinical thermometer is the same as the laboratory thermometer, but there is a small difference between the both thermometer according the structure. The only difference is that there is a slight bend. You can see in the figure a slight bend in the stem just above the bulb. This bend prevents the movement of mercury back into the bulb when the thermometer is taken out of the person's mouth. The clinical thermometer has a range from 35 degrees Celsius, which is a lower fixed point, to 42 degrees Celsius, which is a upper fixed point. Because temperature of a human body never goes beyond this limit. It never goes beyond these limits. The normal temperature of a human body is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we should know how to use a clinical thermometer. First, the thermometer should be washed before use. It is preferably with an antiseptic solution and dry it using a cotton swab. Hold the thermometer firmly and give it a few jerks to bring the level of mercury below 35 degrees Celsius. Place the bulb of the thermometer under our tongue for about 2 minutes. In case of a child, place it below the armpit and not in the mouth. When it is related to children, it should be put in armpit. After 2 minutes, take out the thermometer and read the mercury level of the thermometer by holding it horizontally in the line of sight. This will give us the body temperature in Celsius. Now there is some precaution to be observed while reading a thermometer. So let's understand the precaution. Thermometer should be washed before and after use. Read the thermometer by holding it horizontally so as to keep the level of mercury along the line of sight. Handle the thermometer with care. If it hits against some hard object, it can be break. Don't hold the thermometer by bulb while reading it. Do not sterilize the thermometer in boiling water as this can be break the bulb. Avoid keeping the thermometer in the sunlight or near a flame. It may break the thermometer. Now next point is, which is a very important point, that is the effect of heat. Student, when we heat an object, many changes take place. To understand this, let us do a simple activity. Take a vessel and put a few pieces of raw vegetable into it. Fill the vessel up to the brim with water and close it tightly with a lid. Heat vessel till water start boiling. When what we observe? We observe that the water becomes hot. As the water heats up further, it become overflow and its volume increase. Thus heat cause expansion, we can say that. As the water boils, steam also comes out and water changes, that means water changes its state due to that heat. Another thing is that after some time the pieces of vegetable get cooked. Thus we can say that number of changes taken place during heating. So we can say that heat cause changes in temperature, state, expansion and chemical change also. In this lesson we are going to discuss the expansion part. Expansion is one of the effect of heat and all the substance, whatever it's solid, liquid or gas, expand on heating and contact on cooling. However, extent up to which they expand is different from different object. It depends on the state. Just like expansion in solid. So we know that the molecules in solid are closely packed and the position of these molecules is almost fixed in solid. The space between the molecules is the minimum in solid, in fact almost zero. And that's why the force of affection among the molecules is very strong. These molecules vibrate only about their mean position. When we heat a solid, the movement of these molecules increase. The increases the average distance between the molecules, and that is the reason the space occupied by the molecules increase and the volume of solid is also increased. Now next is expansion in liquid, which is the another state. The molecules of liquid are packed less closely to each other as compared to molecule in solid. Thus the space between the molecule in liquid is more. As the molecules are some distance away from each other, the force of attraction is not so strong in liquid. The molecules can thus move freely inside the liquid. On heating a liquid, the vibration of these molecules increase, which increases the average distance between them. This leads to increase the volume of liquid. Now next is the state, that is gases. The molecule in gases are very loosely packed, we know that, and the space between the molecule is the maximum in gases. Hence the force of attraction between gas molecule is almost realizable. The gas molecules have the maximum freedom to move around independently. On heating gas, the vibration of these molecules increase. This increases the average distance between the molecules, and this causes an increase in the volume of gases. Hence the expansion is more in case of gases than the liquid or solid. We can see numbers of example which is the result of expansion of heating around us. Just like you must have seen that one end of a steel bridge is made to rest on roller. Enough space is provided between the rollers for expansion of steel during summer. During summer, the iron expands. To allow expansion, space is left between two sections of rail track. It is the most important example of expansion of heating on solid, the iron expansion. To allow expansion, space is left between the two sections of rail track. Another is liquid thermometer are also based on the fact that liquids expand on heating. So we learned some example which is the result of expansion on heating effect. So students, here we finish almost half of the chapter, that is chapter 4th from standard 7th science. I hope you understand each and every points, and rest of the chapter I will discuss in our next video. So students, thank you for joining me.